Hey, what's up guys, it's T-Bone here and welcome back to another episode of playing Legendary Game of Heroes. So the arena event has just finished, and hopefully you received one of these cards as the event reward, and that is the Xenoscourge, the latest Dark Dragoon. So this card is a little different than the previous Water Dragoon in that it is easier to evolve. So I got these cards at 4 stars, I was in the Emperor League so I get 2 of these, and I was able to evolve them to 6 stars because it just requires a Halo. And then from 4 stars to 5 stars, you need to have a Dark Essence, and then you also need the Longanite. Then going from 5 stars to 6 stars, it's Altera's Tear and Essence plus another Halo. So I have this at 6 stars now, and you can then specialize. So you can see here there is a specialized button. Then when you look at it, you'll be able to see where what different specializations it has. There's a bug in here so that you'll notice that these are going to be duplicated. So whatever, there's actually 8 of these showing instead of 4. So just make sure you scroll down further to see the different specializations. The first one is going to be God, and it's going to take on the property of Hell. So you'll create 6 Dark Power Gem 2s, and then create additional 6 of them if there are at least 4 or more Dark Power Gem 4s. And the leader skill is really good as well. So you can see it has 500% damage, 600% health, and 800% recovery. The next specialization you can go up to, is the Honor card, which is Lalo. So you can basically use this as a nuke card every 3 turns. And then the third one is going to be Fable, which is basically the Dark Bear, Papa also. And it creates 1 Dark Power Gem 1 for every 8 stacks of Fable intensity. And then the last one is going to be Dren, which is, I believe the card is called Night Sky Apparition. And this card will actually increase Dren's attack as well as add passive Dark Power Gems every single turn. And so overall, a really good card to have, because especially since you can evolve it to 6 stars. At 6 stars, this card by itself is pretty good as well. It still takes on a God property. And this will be like the Soul Reaper, in that it will create 6 Dark Power Gem 1s and then create 6 more if there's at least 4 more Power Gem 4s. But if you take a look at the leader skill, it has 415% damage and 475 health and 600% recovery already. And this applies to all Dark Heroes. So this is a really good card to take on Guild versus Guild defenders. So what I like to do in today's episode is go over a couple of teams I have and talk about what two different setups. We're going to take on 2 different defenders at different power levels. So let's take a look and see how this could work. So the first team I'm going to take on is myself. My defender's power is about 79,000, and I have a Bone Collector in the first slot that is about 16.8 thousand power. And so to go against this team, the 2 required cards are Mothership and Starcaller Warrior to dispel Flatline as well as provide turn delay. Unfortunately, Starcaller Warrior isn't a card that's easily farmable in the campaign or in anywhere else, but hopefully you can actually get them in the Honor Pack. It is available, you just have to spend Honor points and hope to get it when you open it. So if you do get that card, make sure you don't dust it because it is very useful. And then the other cards I'm bringing in here are Mondo Nighthill as well as a Cannon. And then I have Xenoscourge as the leader. So notice that I actually have 4 different dark cards in here with 4 different classes. So I'm able to bring in 1 relic of each so that I could actually generate enough gems in the beginning to power up all of my battle skill. It's a pretty straightforward playthrough once you can dispel Flatline on turn 1, in that you would just activate everything as much as you can and use Cannon to spawn gems so that you can power up Starcaller Warrior. It also helps that the Xenoscourge creates 6 power gems to add to the total gem count. Now, I also added 1 additional Honor Relic so that I could generate 10 intensity plus another one that Cannon actually generates by itself. So I go up by 15 intensity every single turn so that I can increase the total number of gems I create every single turn. Now, once you get the cadence going, you basically would just activate Starcaller as soon as you can so that you can continue to keep the turn delay counter going. And so at this point, it's really not a lot of difference in how you would normally play a Mondo Nighthill deck, for example, that uses other cards and use Mondo Nighthill as a damage dealer. So what's the difference about this deck? Well, with Xenoscourge as the leader, every single card that you have in here gets additional power boost for the damage. And so you can actually save a little time by adding more damage overall in addition to the nuke damage here. And what you'll see is at about intensity 165, I'm able to actually generate enough power gems so that when I do a match, I actually dealt a total of 165 million damage, and I was able to take out Bone Collector easily, much faster than if I were just to depend on using Mondo Nihil. Then as you enter the second wave, Starcaller Warrior already has a battle skill charged so that you can delay the enemy by 2 turns, and Cannon has enough intensity at this point to generate enough gems so that you can power him back up in 2 turns or less. And so with this, you'll now have a cadence going, and you have also the mothership as a safety net to give you additional turn delay if you needed to. And you can also use Mondo Nihil to deal more damage, so you can continue this pattern. And about intensity 300 or so, you'll actually be able to generate enough gems through Cannon so that you can power up your turn delay card every single turn. And from that point on, it's pretty smooth sailing. So you'll get the nuke damage from Mondo Nihil, and every 3 turns, you can activate Xenoscourge. So you can generate 6 power gems and then use the gems that you can create from the relic to then deal more damage from the match itself. So this is a pretty safe way to play the match, and it took about 15 minutes, and it would have taken usually a little bit longer without this team setup. So this also helps save some time in your GvG battles. Next, we're going to go up against a team that has about 11,000 power as a leading card. At this level, you can expect it to deal about 70,000 damage, and so we're going to build a team that can survive the first hit, and we're going to use a Titan Shield to help us boost the health. And you can see also we have 3 different support cards from past events, and this is really where Xenoscourge is shining. We have Tyra from left to right, Tyra, Nighthawk, and then Cannon, and Starcaller Warrior as our turn delay card. So the very first turn, the gameplay, the strategy is the same. You want to make sure that you match all of the dark gems so that you can activate or you can charge up the battle skill for Starcaller Warrior so that you can start with a turn delay. But the key here that's very different than the previous team is that if you're going up against a slightly lower power team, this setup can actually take out the defense too early if you're not careful. So you'd want to make sure that you don't activate Xenoscourge right away and do the power gem match until you have about 100 or 110 intensity. Because at that point, you'll be able to activate your cards and fill up the board mostly with enough gems to power up Starcaller Warrior. So you'll see here we're going to activate Xenoscourge and then the rest of the support cards, and when we do a power gem swap at this point, we can actually take the defender's health all the way down to 0 with this one shot. Now, if you don't have Tyra, because Tyra is a pretty old card, you can actually use any other dark card that has pretty good health, and I think another good substitute would be the Baron Semity because it has high health and it creates gems every time you attack, which also further helps you power up your Starcaller Warrior. So that's another card that you can take into consideration as well. So with this particular setup, I'm able to take down the defense team in about 10 minutes or less. Given that it's nothing but support cards here, I think that's a really good result. So to me, I think that this particular Dragoon is a really good card. It's easier to evolve and it's immediately useful. So I'm hoping that this is something that you can use in your team as well. You can build a nice dark team for the upcoming Guild vs. Guild season. So that's all I wanted to show for this particular episode. Thanks for watching, thanks for your time, and we're going to come back in the next episode where I'm going to go over the preview for the upcoming Fire Slayer event in preparation for Halloween. Thank you, take care.